So hello and welcome. I'm Frederick Dunn, and it's November the 10th in the state of Pennsylvania, and this is the Way to Be quick tip. It's 48 degrees Fahrenheit outside. That's 9 degrees Celsius for the rest of you. On several of my hives, I'm putting Hive Alive fondant packs. I thought I would do a quick tip here and show you exactly how I place it. Now that's a rapid round feeder, and that's one of my old feeder shims here. So we're going to pull that out. And rapid round is for solid like dry sugar or liquid syrup, and we're replacing that with fondant because I have found here in the snow belt, fondant gets my bees through winter much better. Look at the insulation I'm going to pack around it. That is just Reflectex, or you can use double bubble. I also have a second layer of it on top here underneath the Be Smart Designs outer cover, because that cover by itself doesn't offer a lot of insulation, but by putting another layer in it like this, we can keep things a little bit warmer there, and then the bees of course can go up into that feeder shim and consume the fondant through winter. This also allows us to check it without opening up the hive itself, and the bees are less disturbed. So there you go. There's the entrance. Obviously not a lot of activity right now because it's just too cold. Wasps, actually, while the temperature's in the 40s here, have the advantage, and they can scoot right into some of the entrances. Pretty darn annoying. Now there's a little black cap in the center there, that insulated inner cover. We're going to pull that off, and you want to make sure and leave those caps inside your feeder shim so that you don't lose them. And of course I'm showing this entrance because look at that. There goes a yellow jacket. Now, are they able to do a lot of damage inside the hive? Not really, because the cluster is a little higher. And as things warm up later today, it gets into the 50s, these honeybees will then be able to better defend their entrance. For right now, wasps are getting in, and these are late season wasps. Now, here's a fondant pack. They come in 2 pound or 5 pound. This is the 2 pound pack. And notice I just cut open one side and left the clear point on the back there, clear viewing area, so we can check it as winter progresses and just be ready to replace it as needed. Now in the hives that need more, if I know in advance that they're going to need more, I put a 5 pound pack on. That's what that is right there. But look at the size of the colony plus. They're already up there underneath the inner cover, which has a feeder shim on it here. And the feeder shim is just a 2-inch wooden spacer that has been glued to a normal inner cover. And on this one I've put double layers of Reflectex. And that will keep it even a little warmer. Make sure, of course, that your fondant is not expired. This is Hive Alive fondant. And of course, that's a Flow Hive cover, which has no insulation on it, so I added Reflectex to the inside. And I glued that with wood glue. Here's a Lysin insulated outer cover, and you can see that I've also added a layer of Reflectex there. And I've used expansion foam around it, and now I'm going to show the EZ Fondant Helper that just came out. And I just got these a week ago. You push it in through the plastic, it cuts a perfect circle. So you don't have to use your knife. I realize you can if you want to. And then you just peel off the plastic. And then look what we do. We turn it over and we put these long prongs in there, and that keeps the fondant pack from collapsing as the bees consume the resources inside. Pretty handy. Just came out. That's $20 for 10 of them. And then you put it right on your hive and you're good to go. Now, sometimes we have nucleus hives. Look at this one. It's got a migratory cover on it. The bees are at the top already. And I have to make a modification so that I can add fondant on top of this. Fondant is an emergency resource. We've had warmer than usual weather, so I'm a little bit worried about my bees not having what they need. So here I've taken a 2 pound pack of fondant. I cut it in half lengthwise, and then I just folded it over. That will help it occupy this little shim space here. And you can see there's a tiny hole there that the bees can come up through. And they will come up and go right into the side of the fondant packs here the way they're cut. And I know they do this really well because they did the very same thing last winter and ended up with empty packets up here. So we're going to, of course, put a layer of insulation, double bubble, highly recommended. And then I'm going to put the migratory cover back on, and we're going to fold the ends down. It's perfectly fine that it overlaps a little bit. In fact, I think that helps. Now, these are 5-frame deeps when it comes to these nucleus hives. Wooden sidewalls. The most important thing is, of course, to insulate the top. We want no condensation on top over the bees, and this little setup is going to solve that problem for us. And then there will be condensation on the interior sidewalls, and the bees are going to need it to metabolize the fondant that they have. So there it is, thick polystyrene. That's been on for several years. I'm just seeing how long that lasts on its own. We're putting that up there with bricks. Now, if you're getting brand new rigid foam board, I highly recommend that you paint it with an acrylic latex paint. So small entrances now, and of course we're coming across the jumping spider webs here. I'm going to pull this open, and look, what's on the top there is a little orb spider, not a jumper. That's interesting to me. So I guess the spiders are getting along here. And look, here's two female jumping spiders coming out. One of them scoots right down the side, the other one just turns its back on me, pretending that it's not there. And of course it's cold for them. I don't know really what they do in winter. I don't know what they're going to eat. That little cotton ball that they made there is for their babies. And look right under the handhold here. So if you're reaching under here to grab your hive to lift it, there's your little jumping spider right there. Not dangerous to beekeepers, and perfectly content leaving them as they are, other than of course the damage I did to the little cottony web. They don't need a web. They're ambush hunters, so they scoot out and they grab things. So here's another entrance. As you can see, it's starting to warm up a little bit. We started at 48 degrees, but by the end of this video, we're in the 50s. This is a keeper's hive that I'm trying out, and I have a Ceracell feeder on top of that. So I'm showing you some different feeder options. You can use this for liquid syrup. You can also put fondant packs in here, but you have to uncover it right here. Now when you do that, be sure to put the little covers that you remove right inside the reservoir so you're not hunting them up later. I learned that from experience. No reason to take them out. And then I just cut the fondant pack, in this case the 2-pound fondant pack. I cut it in quarters, stack them up 2 quarters in each end here, and last year I did the very same thing and they consumed it 100%. So of course we're going to put insulation over the top of this, Reflectex or double bubble, and then of course the 2-inch rigid foam board insulation, and that will keep things from condensating on the top here, and the bees then will have a warm pocket to access the resources just as they did last winter. So that worked really well. This hive is facing south, of course, and there's quite a bit of activity even though there's no forage. Really important. And look at this, I found a little crab spider there. This thing can't even handle a bee. So maybe it's nabbing the odd fly that comes along. Notice how its abdomen looks like a little skull. Interesting. These things are out on flowers sometimes, and again, they can't handle the cold weather. So as the hard freezes show up, these things are just going to die out. But interesting to find a crab spider on the side of a beehive. Well, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to show you quickly how I put the fondant packs in. Also wanted to demonstrate the EZ Fondant Helper there that comes from Hive Alive. And if you go to Hive Alive and you want to buy some fondant, you can get a 10% discount by typing in the code FRED10, F-R-E-D 10, and they get 10% off. So it helps a lot. It's an emergency resource. Your bees can metabolize it, and I want to thank you for watching this quick tip, and I hope you found it helpful. Have a fantastic week.